Hi everybody, how you doing? I'm Pavs, a Rice-themed VTuber and an artist. Today we're going to be continuing work on the comic that we started last week? No, we definitely started this page last week. Yeah, I got thrown off because I remember a couple of those streams got canceled because of a power outage. But no, we started this one last week. I remember. Yeah, how's everybody been doing? I'm doing pretty well myself. I just ate myself a delicious meal that I will not disclose the ingredients of because in retrospect it's a little bit embarrassing. However, just know that I have eaten well. Listen, sometimes bachelor eating and cooking is more of an art than a science. And people don't appreciate that enough, I think. Alright, we want to give some nice beefy arms to Hawk here. I like that I can play around a little bit more with line width nowadays, but sometimes it feels like I'm still struggling to kind of find a way to use that power rather than just kind of like deal with it. Because right there, right? For example, right there was a line where I wanted to have it be a more or less the same thickness. I don't know, it's starting to, like, it's giving a more disjointed look rather than one that emphasize. I don't think I'm used to thinking about line width and thickness too much in C2, right? I very recently, not very, very recently, but recently enough that this wouldn't have been an issue in the last, well, issue of the comic. I ended up changing my pen pressure settings. Clip Studio Paint has like this diagnostic tool that you can use to figure out like what pressure your hand is most comfortable at. And it's very useful for varying line width, like you saw right there. But the caveat is that it also has the issue that, hang on. It also has the issue that for someone like me who's not used to having such fine control, I don't have as good of a handle on it. Sometimes the line thicknesses are varied in a way that look just messy rather than dynamic. Of course, this could just be a me thing. They say that you shouldn't point out your mistakes, but the thing is that I feel like a lot of people tune into this for my interesting wit and or for my thoughts on the art process while I'm making the art. I don't know. I've thought about doing a survey, right, of asking people why they watch my channel, but I'm 90% sure it's because I'm funny and also I draw good. So I kind of want to see if I can't keep those two up. Yeah. People keep talking, right? Like something that I've heard a lot, that I've seen a lot, is that people can use VTubing and live streaming as a medium for a story. And while I agree with that on principle, I feel like it's much more difficult to execute in practice, right? Like, if I ever wanted to tell a story with my character, with everything that I'm doing, I feel like it would have to be through pre-recorded videos, or it's a little less. I mean, It could be. It could go either way. The problem is that when you want to tell a more structured story, the kind of big benefit of the streaming as a medium, which is its interactivity, kind of gets tossed by the wayside. Also, I'm realizing now that I look at this that I've made Gora's neck a little too long. I'll have to correct this. Yeah, when you have a highly interactive medium, you lose a little bit the ability to tell a coherent story. Which isn't always a bad thing, you know? Everybody loves D&D podcasts, for example, and those are incoherent as hell. But, you know, those are being led by people who have much more experience, who have much more ideas about how to run it. They have, even within themselves, they have a specific structure by way of the game's mechanics, and the boss encounters that are penned by the DM. Yeah, because if you want to, for example, tell a story on stream, you would kind of have to ignore the audience for a little bit, unless the story is like a choose your own adventure thing, which has happened before. I think my friend Cypress, who comes by this channel pretty often, she did a stream the other day where she played a Goosebumps game or something. I think it was either a game or she read through some of the choose your own adventure stories. I used to love those as a kid. But yeah, she either played a game of them or got through some choose your own adventure stories. And in that regard, I could see audience interactivity being a huge factor. But then conversely, it's also an issue that, well, if you're just going to do it like that, you might as well make a game or something, right? It's much more difficult to inject yourself because even then you have like a pre-prepared scenario. You can riff on it while you're in the middle of it as the one presenting it. But it always seems difficult to realize its full potential. It's going to take somebody much bigger brain than I am. I've got some ideas of my own, but they're fairly rudimentary. I've long ago accepted that I'm probably never going to be an innovator in this space, and I'm fine with that. I can do my own kind of cool shit without having it be some kind of disruptive, earth-shattering revelation. People like that who do make those things, though, are the ones really putting in the work. The people who make GTuber Plus, the program that I use, the people who maintained and made the C Face, for example, they are legitimately heroes. They've enabled a lot of people to make their dreams come true, and for that I will always be. That's definitely something to respect. Man, this would be much easier with the symmetry tool. I should use a symmetry tool real quick. Hang on. We need to go like right. Ooh, Gaskell. There we go. Oh yeah, we are getting efficient now. Hey Ben, how you doing? Let's see. Yeah, I was talking about the different ways that you can use VTubing and live streaming as a storytelling format. Doing peachy, how are you? I'm doing good myself. Yeah, I was talking about the ways that VTubing and live streaming could be used as a storytelling format. The main ones that I can think of for that are stuff like what that dude from Holostar said, Magni, for his model, for one of like his updated model reveals, he did like this whole narrative story where he essentially revealed like a lore-based reason for why his model looked different. It's because like it was supposed to be a clone of him, which was super cool, and a lot of people were amazed by like the production value of it. But even then, like I'm thinking like about the way that media can be interactive with the viewer, because on the one hand side of the spectrum, you have something like, say, what's a really good one? Like ARGs, for example. ARGs are very dependent, or at least somewhat dependent, on user interaction, just because of the way that they are structured. If nobody plays your ARG and uncovers the secrets to it, it's hard to kind of make it progress, Okay. Yeah, there has to be a way. There has to be a way to retain the interactivity of the live streaming video. If nobody interacts with your ARG, does it even exist? That's a deep question. I reckon it does. I reckon it does exist on some level. I have original characters, but I've never made a comic with them. I've made art of them, sure, but in that regard, do they really exist outside of those drawings? Do they? I've made those drawings. Do they exist as a universe, even if nobody interacts with it? I think the answer is that it does exist. I mean, it's still there. It's just that nobody's seen it. I reckon that it's kind of like an inverse of that thing of like if a tree falls in the forest, will anybody hear it? It's more like if a tree is in the forest but nobody's like marked it or seen it, does it still exist? And I reckon that the answer to that is yes, it does very much still exist. It's just not known. You don't reap well, I assume the benefits of whatever interaction you were hoping to receive with it. As a creator, it's a very big fear that you will pour your heart and soul into something, I think. And whatever that is that you create will flop. It's possible to overthink it a little bit, but I reckon that's not an unreasonable fear, right? It's almost like rejection, if you want to think about it that way. But it's less like rejection. It feels like a rejection. It's not, but it feels like it. Let's see. As a creator who myself and as somebody who gets easily choked up by stories where like a grandma makes a cake for her grandchildren but nobody comes to eat, I am like so weak to those kinds of stories. It is unreal. I forgot to make the bottom of her clipboard. I should fix that. Hmm. Yeah. I think to play the side of the devil's advocate though. On the other hand, it is an interesting idea to say that the ARG technically doesn't exist if nobody interacts with it. Because I feel like a lot of mediums are dependent. Someone somewhere someday will stumble upon the decaying remains of your creation and will appreciate your work, even if it's been 100 years since you passed. I feel, and even if they don't, right? Even if by some miracle, whatever you create will be completely inaccessible or lost in some way or another, like it becomes like those Doctor Who episodes that nobody's been able to find recordings of anywhere, right? I think it's still meaningful to create it. I think if you put something outside of yourself, even if nobody is able to appreciate it properly, or you don't see anybody appreciating it properly, I think that's something important that you've done. You've exercised your agency as somebody who exists in this universe, and I think that's a good thing. Rather, I don't see how it can be a bad thing. And dying with regrets is something that I think a lot of people think about very frequently, right? Being like, I wish I could have done this. I wish I could have finished that. I think for me to not die with any regrets, I would have to either create or finish a series like this on my own terms rather than, as selfish as it sounds. It's a complete bonehead move, but I want to be able to take something and say that this is mine, right? I want to be able to do that. And I think this is definitely not the work I'm going to be able to do that with. But I think it's meaningful that I create these pages. I do think that. Hmm. That being said, in this day and age, right, in this age of like online stuff, it's very easy. I think it's much easier to have these fears and these concerns because unlike unlike more physical mediums, right? If you make a painting, right? Francisco Goya, he made these paintings in his house that he didn't really make for anyone except maybe the people that he thought might visit. Saturn devouring his son. There's a bunch of other ones too. I don't the Black House paintings or whatever they're called. He didn't make those really for anyone, I don't think. But even so, after he died, it left a trace of him, right? Somebody wanted to look at that house, and they found it, and they were like, "Holy shit! This guy made some weird, fucked up paintings. Everybody, come see how tight this shit is right now." And tight it was. It was much easier back in the day to leave some trace of yourself in your work, but I feel like now with the fact that like data is very perishable and everything, that's become more difficult, right? Like, even if you weren't like Francisco Goya and you just bought some acrylics from a local art store now and again, you still had, to interact with somebody. You still had to meaningfully, somebody would have seen you come and go and being like, I wonder what they're painting. Because if you come by the store often enough, they'll be like, hi, that person really comes by often. Even if I don't know what they're painting, they must paint a lot. So that's almost an acknowledgement. Or say if you make like a stand-up comedy routine and you book a set at the club and nobody attends, even if nobody is present for that routine, you still have the traces of yourself in there. You still talk to somebody to book that time for yourself. You still had to interact with people to set that up. But nowadays, you can actually do most things through your own hands. It's interesting. It's interesting because people have made it easier to just be the one guy doing everything. But at the same time, that is such a difficult thing to be. I don't know. It's a lot of complicated thoughts that don't even necessarily conflict, but I don't know. In any case, it's a little bit too. This got kind of deep, but even though it's something that I find interesting to discuss, it's not something that I'm necessarily concerned about. For me, nowadays at least, art at first was to make myself happy. Now I feel like art is both that. I definitely still make art to make myself happy. Like I. If you guys have seen that video of me in my room with Caramel Dance, that's definitely something nobody. I don't think it was made with the intention to make anybody happy but myself, and that's fantastic. I got like this really dumb idea that I thought would be funny as fuck, and I posted it. And even if nobody had seen it, if I had gotten 0 views, 0 likes, 0 whatever, I would have been like, all right, it's out there. I told my dumbass joke. Because it made me smile at some point. And while I still do that, I think definitely it's also part of the fact that I like mostly post on the internet of my art. But I love seeing the best feelings that I get is when I make fan art of like somebody's VTuber persona or something, and they see it and they're like, okay, I like how this looks, and I'm like, yes, I'm so happy you like how that looks, and it's such a great feeling. So yeah, if nobody interacts with something, I think that's a valid reason to be sad. But as an artist, I think you have to strive for ways to be happy making what you make, even if nobody sees it. That's the ideal. Like that's the end goal, right? It takes a long. I think it definitely takes a lot to get there. But the main thing is to focus on doing things that you love. I mean, most people started doing art because they thought it'd be fun. Like, I mean, let's be real. Nobody goes into art to make money. Nobody goes into art to make money. However, because I mean, I don't know. I feel like it would be so funny if there was just like one hater ass motherfucker out there who got into art to make money. God, they'd be like the fucking Leffen of the art world. They just completely hate drawing. They hate like art, but like they're good at it and they know that it's a good way for them to make money specifically. That would be such a fascinating person. Oh my god, I'm just giddy thinking about their potential existence. The thing is however, it's hard to say that anybody would do something that they hate completely, though, out of their own volition. Like, obviously, yes, if it makes you money, you want to do it. But I think, like, even past a certain point, if you hate something that much, you eventually just decide, yeah, no, I'm just not going to keep doing this anymore. Right? Like, there's this one, whatchamacall, there's this one disclaimer that I see in a lot of, like, animal husbandry videos, right? Of, like, animals in zoos doing tricks and such, that there is no amount of treats you can give an animal to make it do something it's completely unwilling to do. Like I think it was for like a lion, right? There was like this enrichment thing set up for a lioness in an enclosure at a zoo, where what would happen is that they set up a rope to a pulley with one of the ends being in the enclosure and the other being outside of the enclosure. And what they would do is that they would let the lioness wrestle with customers by letting the customers tug on the rope. And if the lioness wanted to play with the rope, she could just grab the other end and play a little bit of tug of war with whoever was there. And they were playing around. There's this one distinctive video I remember of it where there were like 15 or 10 or 15 guys on the rope trying to pull this one lioness, and the lioness was just like standing her ground. It was awesome. And somebody pointed out that even though they can show the animal how to do it, there is no amount of like treats or enrichment that could force it to do that. And I think that's the same for a lot of hobbies. Even though you do something out of habit or because you don't know how to do anything else, I think on some fundamental level, if you really, really, really well and truly hated it, you would find some way to find literally anything else to do. So I think then the key to that is to find the parts of the process that you enjoy. There has to be, there has to be something worth saving about that process for you to still be doing it. In any case, those are my thoughts. Again, it's not normal that we get that deep on stuff, but it's super fun for me to think about like stuff that makes people create stuff. It's an interesting topic of discussion. Okay, we'll do the other eye back here. I think I've made the line down here too thick. I need to make it thinner. It is a deep topic, but alas, I am a simple man. It was fun for me to talk about, though. And thanks for helping me get into it. Okay, there we go. Erase these parts here. I wonder if I can just kind of reach over and copy and paste these. So I don't have to work too hard to make the inside of the lining. Okay. Oh. So I need to make it bigger rather than smaller? And I need to thin out the lines here, that's for sure. Yeah, I think it's gonna be easier for me to just do it by hand. So I think I'm just gonna do it that way. There we go. I kind of want. I'm kind of blazing through the liner. I did this panel for some reason because I think it would have just been fun to do, but I do kind of want to get the line art finished. It's hard to say I'll be able to get the line art for this panel finished, but I definitely think I can do these two panels here before the night is out. I want to be able to get my page per week output higher. I'm starting to think that it is kind of a skill issue because I I talked the other day, right, about this panel I went to where this dude said I can get like six or so pages done on like my travel setup, and then that bumps up to like 8 pages or 12 pages or some absurdly high number of pages if I'm at like my desk setup, and I'm like, okay, Jesus, man. All right, Lightning McQueen. So I thought, okay, maybe I can do like 1/5 of that, maybe. Like per day for like a full working day. Are you for real? But then I saw this other person who was talking about like the webcomic that they were making, and they noted that they could put a reliably take 3 pages a week from thumbnail to completed. And I'm like, Jesus Christ. And that was like a random ass Tumblr user. I think they might have had a day job too. I don't think they were like doing art full time. I mean, it's kind of disheartening to think nobody really does art full time anymore. Like, even if you do art as a living, if you're like an animator or something, you need to be constantly working on your portfolio. You need to be working on your social media presence so that you have like a brand outside of your employment, which is insane to me. It's gonna sound a little callous. I am glad I decided never to go into. I decided that my professional thing would not be art. I'm glad that I decided to keep art as a hobby because I keep seeing these horror stories of people utterly destroying their bodies, their postures, wrists, everything, working a full-time art job. And like there are ways to mitigate and avoid that, but like in some cases it is unavoidable just because of the working conditions that they were in. You can do as many stretches and warm-ups and cool downs as you like, but when you have to get 8,000 drawings done by tomorrow or else the boss will fire you, it's harder to take care of yourself, and it's harder to pace yourself in a way that meaningfully provides self-care. Not to mention, even if there are preventions you can take, it's not easy to maintain those preventions. For example, you could live to be 90 years old by eating well every single day, doing exercise every single day, getting up in the morning at a reasonable time every single day, drinking water lots every single day, brushing your teeth properly every single day, eating nothing but like, I was going to say eating off of nothing but a clean plate, but that's kind of, I hope you're doing that. I hope most people are able to eat off a clean plate on some days. It's hard, but I hope you can. In any case, etc., etc. It's straightforward, but it's not easy to maintain by any means. Everyone's got their own circumstances. Nobody said this living shit would be easy. But goddamn. If nothing else, it's all we have, right? Even though it has a lot of disadvantages, it also carries many opportunities. That's two kind of deepish things we've discussed in a row. I need to talk about something stupid. Oh yeah. Have you guys heard about that fucking Grok AI thing? Apparently, the X, also known by its less dumb former name, Twitter, is apparently I don't remember if it's just Elon Musk's whole thing that he's launching an AI division. Grok. It's a new AI that's being released by Elon Musk, which sounds like a fucking train wreck frame one. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm not a fan of most AI stuff these days, but this one in particular sounds like it's a recipe for disaster. Like, he said that it's going to inject a kind of humorous tone to everything, which already bad idea if you want to get like solid information. All right, we do not want to have like the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. We want like a coherent thought. Anyway, what he says makes it more powerful compared to other AI and more humorous as well, is the fact that it's going to be hooked up directly to Twitter. It's going to have like a real time access to Twitter to update itself. Again, such an awful fucking idea. The good news... Okay, so hang on. There's two ways that this can go. One, he's lying through his teeth, as he usually does, and it's not actually going to be updated through Twitter. It's going to use like very specific accounts, probably his own, to kind of feed its own algorithm. Or two, we are going to see this thing brain degrade so fast, it's going to be like a fucking radium isotope. It's going to be like... It's going to be watching one of those like... Have you ever seen like those time-lapse videos of like a caterpillar eating through a leaf, or of like a fruit growing mold? It's going to be like something like that. Because every single time, and I don't know where these people fucking came from or what their mission is, so to speak. Whenever I go into a popular post or a post made by a popular account, the first thing I see is 30 or 40 meathead fucking jabronis replying with the most incoherent, not even offensive, just really stupid reaction meme images. They don't add anything. They don't provide any additional context or any meaningful interaction. They're just there for some reason. it's kind of like horrifically fascinating. Wouldn't even be the first AI to lose its sanity, but it probably will be the quickest to date. There was this AI. This was like a year ago now. There was this like AI Seinfeld thing. There was also like an AI SpongeBob for a time, but there was like this AI Seinfeld that what happened is that somebody hooked up an AI to like make a Seinfeld episode that never runs out. And somebody checked in on that thing, and it's got like 7 active viewers, and now it's just 2 people stood in front of each other this entire time. They're not saying anything, they're not moving, they're just still. Like it kind of died or something. It's kind of terrifying. Somebody needs to make like a horror story about that for real. God. Like the tech demo for everything was for it and everything was really dumb too. It like he was like, oh, it's gonna be a funny thing. Check this out. And hey, Grok, give me instructions for how to make cocaine. And then it kind of started doing that. It started giving like broad instructions on the production of cocaine before it just said, just kidding. Like, bro, somebody is going to make napalm with this. Like, you could choose something less illegal to start with for your product's demo. And somebody could probably hack the thing to probably actually tell you how to make cocaine. Which is going to be quite fascinating. I don't know. Making bathtub Semtex has always been on my bucket list. I don't know. Where would I put it though once I've done it? It's like making a complicated dish that you don't even like. Like what's step 2 here, bro? Either hack it or, arguably worse, reverse engineer it. I don't think there's a risk of anybody trying to reverse engineer it because you generally only want to do that to things you want to copy. Okay, caller here. The advanced AI? Advanced is a generous way of describing it, but sure. Yeah. The thing is, right? Even if you can reverse engineer it, it's going to be hard to get the same because it is like a proprietary Twitter thing. I'm sorry, it's a proprietary X thing. So even if you can reverse engineer it, it's going to be difficult to get the kind of site permissions needed to run it, I reckon. You could cut a special deal with it, but then you'd be flying a little close to the sun. I don't know. I wouldn't go that gutsy if I was some kind of professional hacker hive mind. If I was some kind of professional hacker brain genius, I would not be trying to hack Twitter's AI, or rather reverse engineer it. There might be something you could do with it, but I don't know enough about AI and programming to give a salient judgment on that. I reckon that there's got to be some good stuff in there, but like I said, I think a lot of it will be dependent on stuff on permissions that Twitter can exclusively give itself. Musk is kind of a fucking idiot, but even he's not dumb enough to deliberately put something out there that people can just steal. Well, we don't have conclusive evidence of that just yet. We'll have to see. All I'm picturing is that one is like those 2 frames from Hunter x Hunter where somebody's like, "You're not actually that stupid, are you?" And the other person just looks at them blankly. But yeah, no, if it really is just using stuff from Twitter, I can't wait for it to be inundated with the idiots and the replies to most popular Twitter posts. Where do those idiots even come from? They certainly can't be real people. I feel like they were grown in a vat like homunculi. Don't get me wrong, interacting with other people in any way that you can is all well and good. But there's something to be said for trying to do that earnestly and trying to do that by copying and pasting the 580th variation of, I don't know, what's a very common one? Fucking Five Nights at Freddy's or something. Hey, Cypress. Hey, how you guys doing? Welcome to the stream. How was your variety stream? Hang on. Slash shout out. Volker died. So it's Volker died. Played some Halloween stuff. I didn't get to. Oh, nice. Any particular favorites that you found? Or was it more of a combo platter of everything? Well, no, it had to be a combo platter of everything. But did you find any ones that you were particularly fond of? I've been hearing a lot of good stuff about this one called Little Goody Two Shoes that's come out recently. Garbage Pail Kids NES game had a level called Hell Eternity. Holy shit! What? No, hold on. That's actually kind of metal as hell. What the hell? They set the HE double hockey stick word on it in an NES game? That's insane to me. That's awesome. I'm glad you got to experience that. Hell Eternity. That's some Doom. That's like a Doom 2016 level name. That's on some Ben Drowned shit. It's like a lost NES game that got developed but never published until this year. That's awesome. I love that. It sounds like you found some interesting stuff then. Good work. God. Garbage Pail Kids. I'm having a hard time placing those guys. Let me look those. Let me look them up real quick. How's the art? I'm doing good. Hang on. Let me check this out. I'm getting the line art done for first these three panels. These two up here and this one down here, and then I'm gonna start tackling this beast. They're a parody of Cabbage Patch Kids dolls. Yeah, I see it now. This little guy is kind of growing on me. Yeah, this feels like the kind of thing you'd see in the 90s. Peel here. Don't like that. What if you saw that sticker and that like peel here sticker on like a human person somewhere on their body? Hmm. I think that's already like a horror story somewhere. I shouldn't play around with that too much. Hold on. There's something with the jetpack here. I need to get the jetpack in here. Did I say small object or character? Pull the jetpack version 2. Here we go. Move this up. Let me change around the light source for this thing too. There we go. All right, this will make it easier to figure out what to do with it. Let me widen it out a bit too. There we go. Maybe I should make it smaller or more compact. There we go. Man, it's a good thing drawing isn't real and we have no rules. Otherwise, I might be kind of screwed here in terms of proportions. Yeah. We also discussed the fact that apparently Musk is releasing an AI called Grok, which is going to be updated to by Twitter in real time. So I can't wait until we get the speedrun record of whoever first asks it to make napalm or some shit. God. I can imagine so many ways of that going wrong. It's insane. I love it when a plan is literally not foolproof. Like this genuinely sounds like something a rube could run smack dab into the middle of and ruin. It's great. Especially when it's a business plan. Oh my god. Delicious. It's like enrichment to me. One time I listened to a podcast about how Enron was being destroyed from the inside out, and it was like watching an episode of Defunctland to me. I was clapping and hollering and hooting. I think there was also another big company recently that went under. WeWork, I think it was called. I think they recently bit the dust. I don't even know what they did, really. It sounds like it's some kind of contracting agency from the name, but you can't really rely on that these days. Okay. Cut these guys apart. Something's not right about these shorts. Now, see, that's too big of a fly. Okay, cut this here. Perfect. Would we be able to see the jetpack? No, it would be barely hidden. I can add a little bit of something here. Just to kind of have it there. I'm going to make it wider too, the wings. Maybe make them a little bit more delta shaped. Also, Gora's head is a little bit big here. I'm going to reduce the size of her eyes so that it looks more proportional. Okay, stretch this part out. Oh yeah, I'm also going to be picking up a new email newsletter, Journey to the West Daily. It's not really daily. It's going to be coming out every 2 or 3 days, apparently. But apparently, somebody's going to try and cover the 100+ chapters of Journey to the West in a similar style to like Dracula Daily, and I, for one, cannot wait for it. I'm ready for Journey to the Peak. I've always wanted to read Journey to the West, but it's very difficult to obligate yourself to do that. I feel like at least with like regular updates like this, I should be able to kind of con my brain into keeping up with it more often. Hard to say though. I know it worked for a lot of people with Dracula Daily. Have we checked up on those guys? Have we checked up on the people who hopped on board the Dracula Daily bandwagon? How are they doing? How are they holding up? Like, are they still alive? I mean, they have to be, right? I feel like it was like a huge thing like a year ago or so. When did the Dracula Daily boom happen? If it happened this year, I'm going to be fucking flabbergasted. I would believe it though. This year has been kind of a limbo period for me due to some administrative stuff that I can't really talk about. Next year I'm gonna go ham, but like this year has been, yeah. I think I'm just gonna write off 2023. Good thing has happened, but it's hard to say that I accomplished. Well, no, I did accomplish a couple of things, didn't I? Well, I'm sure it's gonna fade into my memory. Anyway, this panel is. I still need to shrink her eyes some more. It's a little disturbing too because like the way they are right now, they are disturbingly Neko Arc-esque. Like I can see the faintest traces of that little beast. Oh yeah, this is the part where I drew with Millipen only. That was a great idea. Really shouldn't have done it. No, wait, only half of them are drawn with Millipen. Like Gora and Hawk are drawn with Millipen. Horatio is like with normal G-Pen. What the hell? What the fuck was my problem? Okay. How about... Okay, we need to move this thing, like, dead on. I think that's not quite dead on just yet. Or maybe it is. No, this is definitely, like, dead on perspective. Is this the most recent version of the helmet that I have? I think so. Okay, maybe we move this up and this one outward. Okay, shift this around a little bit like so. Fine-tuning CSB's thing can be really finicky. I feel like sometimes I'm on the ball and sometimes I'm not. In life, it's ball or be bald. My captioning software registered that last one as ball or be bald, which I think it might have worked even better. That's a funny idea. It's beg or bald. Perspective on the outside would actually be still the same because of the fact that they're still looking out into where the entrance is at. I should add a symmetry ruler here. That's gonna work, right? If I have a symmetry ruler here, it's not gonna do something weird and put it all the way put it all the way over here, right? I feel like I should know the answer to the question, but somehow I don't. Oh god, what did I do? Oh, I made the helmet a perspective. That's no good. Put that away. Put that thing away. Okay, no, we're business. Groovy. I am going to take a quick sip of water, though. Hang on. Okay, wait. How's this mouth work? Is it like this? Does that make sense? That seems like a few too many things. Yeah, I think this works better. Okay, and then we can add the snout right here. Okay, I'll do something about the eyes on a separate thing. This works. Or maybe, hang on. Oh god, that's terrifying. It's like she's looking right at me. that's terrifying. What the hell? All right, let's maybe lower that snout a little bit. How about that? Let's lower the snout. I was not emotionally ready for that. My god. Yeah, that looks infinitely less sinister. Oh my god. Let's not ever do that again. Let's move this down a touch. Okay, put those away there. And put these here. Alrighty. This has gone so much smoother than expected. I feel like normally by this point I have to get in at least 2 or 3 fist fights with the art program. It's nice to know that we're playing nice from now on. We have an uneasy peace. A mutual understanding, if you will. Okay. Nice. I'm going to do the same thing for Hawks. I mean, hang on. Can I do the same thing for Hawk's helmet? I actually kind of want to switch it around a little bit. Hang on. Or actually, maybe more towards Horatio since she's talking to him. There we go. Hang on, let me get up real quick. Let me switch to standing mode. feel like I've been sitting down all day. Much better. I need to start doing more abdominal exercises again. I've noticed that my posture at work is just genuinely awful. It's things that it's at the point where I still notice when my posture is bad, so I haven't lost everything just yet. But I still need, but I need to have some kind of secondary support system in place. It's super weird, right? Sometimes, like your abdominal muscles can have an impact on your back muscles. I remember a friend of mine, right? Have you ever seen that thing called like nerd neck, where somebody has like, excuse me, they call the one person who I've talked to it about called it nerd neck, where it's like the kind of typical like nerdy slouch, where you're like this, and you end up having like this lump in your back right here. I remember a friend of mine had that in high school, and we were visiting a doctor for some kind of like vaccination or something. I don't reckon it was like specifically for her thing. I don't remember why we were at the doctor's, but we ended up being able to talk to a doctor while we were there. I think it was for like a vaccination or like some kind of immunization thing. And she asked him, what can I do to get rid of this kind of like thing at the back of my neck? And he said, okay, you need to do abdominal exercises. And like he showed a video of somebody like putting their belly flush against the wall, effectively like putting themselves flush against the wall, and they were able to do it without issue. But somebody who had like this had a difficult time because they didn't have well developed abdominal muscles. But yeah. I think I made the helmet too wide. Let me just reach over and there we go. I think at this point it's just a matter of moving this thing, right? Yeah, okay. Wait, why is VTube Studio launching? Oh, did I accidentally press a button for VTube Studio? No, get out of here. Get out of it. You're dead to me. You're dead to me. I don't think I even have VTube Studio on as an OBS source anymore. I actually have an OBS source still for Live 2D, but I've actually turned that one into my RPG Maker game capture source because for some reason the OBS capture software or whatever it uses to capture video game screens, specifically video game screens, somehow it doesn't vibe with some of the stuff that RPG Maker does. So I end up having to use a ordinary window capture rather than a game capture. I still don't know what the huge difference is between those. Like maybe one of them has like a higher refresh rate or something, so that it can capture more of the motion. It's hard to say. But then, being that most people use live streaming for video games, I don't know. It's kind of hard. It's kind of hard to understand for me which came first, the chicken or the egg in that situation. Like, did they implement video game screens first and then normal windows, or normal windows first and then they specialize the pair into video game screens? Okay. Flatten this. Very good. Okay, then we just need the goggles and the rest. The rest of the helmet. Did I actually draw the other half of Hawk's arm back here? Yeah, no, we're good. We're good. Did I draw the thigh holster? The thigh holster is not even in the picture. All right, my life is at peace. Oh, thank you for the hydrate. Let me drink. I actually wonder, hang on. I can bend my back pretty far. I wonder what effect that's going to have on like the mic capture if I do that. Like theoretically it wouldn't have any, but like let me see something. Let me like drag it out a little bit so I have more reach. All right, this is like standing straight. This is like around 45 degrees. And this is kind of like put over. I think that mostly puts a strain on my voice. Rather than change how it captures everything. I need to retain my back flexibility. That's like the one thing I have going for me is my flexibility. If I can somehow preserve that into my old age, I will be very happy. I don't have to be strong. I don't have to keep my teeth. I just need to be flexible. Actually, no. I would like to have both those things as well. But if I had to choose one, okay. What else happened recently? Oh yeah. Okay. So here's a quick question. How would you classify a starfish's body? So if you think of a starfish, right? A kind of five-pointed beast with a mouth somewhere here and a butthole somewhere back there. How would you qualify these as like arms? As legs? What would you qualify them as? Well, fun fact, scientists just resolved that issue. They have decided that the whole thing is a head. They have decided that a starfish is an animal with a five-pointed head. That is genuinely the funniest way that they could have. I do think that is the funniest. Yeah, fantastic. I am not gonna lie. I am a fan of this. I do think it's the funniest way they could have classified this beast. Scientists just gave up and said, "Fuck it, fuck it. It's an Ed. What do you want from us?" Okay, add one here. Add another one here. Perfect. And then boom, boom, boom. Okay, we need to draw a couple more things, but this is a good start. For the helmet, I mean. We're not nearly done with the page. I wish. It is frustrating that I can't get these done faster. I want to get faster. And I think I have been getting faster. I think I figured out some of the big question marks so far. There's nothing left but victory. Okay. So that's going to be over here. I wonder what else. I wonder what other kind of weird taxonomic decisions scientists have had to make an executive call on, right? I mean, we've all heard the Diogenes bit of the answer to Plato's decision, "Man is a featherless biped," when he held up a plucked chicken and was like, "Behold a man." Like that's a classic bit, right? Like that's a famous bit. But I do wonder what kind of goofery has been officially acknowledged by the scientific community. Okay, there we go. Luckily, we're going to have a little bit of the glove here to soften the blow and avoid having a tangent there. How's that look without the helmet? It's a little wide back here. I'm going to need to change that up a little. Yeah, this feels more right, but it's created a little bit of a mess. Hang on, maybe. Let me take away the sketch layer. Yeah, that's not quite right somehow. Okay, let's try this then. What if I select the lines for the flappy thing, for the helmet flappy, shorten them out, drag them here, drag this back because I saw that move. I need to move the mouthpiece further along. I think that's the main crux. I also recently learned that there's a direct-to-consumer store called Figs that specializes in healthcare apparel. Stuff like scrubs and, just stuff that you generally wear in a hospital. I think that's a cool idea. I do wish working clothes of all kinds were very easily accessible. I wish it was like more normal to wear them because I feel like wearing a boiler suit around as just like an outfit would be very comfortable. Michael Myers had the right idea. That guy knew what he was about. Maybe he knew something we didn't. Okay. Maybe we cut this part here. Did I make the helmet too big? It's a little big. No, it's about the right size. I just need to make the hands bigger to compensate. No, you know what I think the issue is? I think the arm isn't long enough. Okay, grab this part. Swish it around like this. Now, see that bicep is now enormous. That's fun, but we're not going to really be able to use that. I just need to make the next protagonist of my stories to have like an absurdly weird protein mass of a body. There was this one webcomic called Schlock Mercenary that I remember reading a bit when I was younger that had its main character be literally an amorphous blob. And I feel like whoever decided to go with that was a fucking genius, because that way you don't really need consistency. You can just kind of like draw a greenish brown smear on the page and say like that's schlock, and you'd be done with it. It's a very useful character design concept. I always like having super simplified character designs. I mean, my guy is obviously not that complex. There's something to be said for maximalist designs, but I feel like it's a little bit... I don't know if it's just because people have been showing me way too much Genshin shit, but I feel like these super maximalist designs are all starting to blend together a little bit. I think what you really need is like 2 or 3 super distinct parts. Maybe not even, like maybe even like one super distinct thing, and then have the rest just kind of be cohesive, and you have a solid design on your hands. I think Genshin characters were much more distinguishable before there were like 5 billion of them, is the thing. Time was you could count all the Genshin characters on like 3 pairs of hands. Now you need like 50. Gotta get that sweet, sweet gacha money. I reckon the ones that are most distinguishable are also the ones that tend to appear more often, but that might just be wishful thinking. Like I will look at like a character and I will think, okay, that one is definitely from a Hoyoverse game, but I don't know which one it is. And I think that's all I need. I think that's what I need to be at peace. I think if I start recognizing these little bastards on sight, I might really have to go out with honor. How am I gonna be a huge fan of a gacha game that I've never even played? Actually, no, that's very easy to do, actually. That's in fact probably the most healthy way to approach gacha games, to be a fan of like the lore, characters, and setting without ever actually touching the gambling aspect of it. It's the only way to get inoculated. Okay, cut these. Grab this. Okay. Okay. What's a good kind of medium place between Popeye arms and like nice thick arms? I'm thinking just like a little bit below Luke's Street Fighter 6. Bro has definitely been doing his wrist curls. And Something that I've never understood about stuff like physical therapy is just how patient you would have to be. Because the kind of exercises that you need to use to strengthen your body for it are generally best done in a sort of preparative state, right? It's better that you do the exercises to enable those muscles before you get the injury rather than after, because afterwards, you're not only recovering from the injury, you have to kind of start out very, very, very slow, and it's going to be quite painful. It's kind of, I imagine it must be very frustrating. I've never had to do physical therapy, so thank goodness for that, but it can't be something that they're happy about, I reckon. Although it is interesting to use muscles you don't use often. I remember the other day I saw this one exercise on a random YouTube video. I occasionally watch this guy called the Bioneer, right? Who does these videos on different kind of super efficient exercises. There was like this one squat that used and engaged your calves as well, for example, which was really interesting. I still do those from time to time. The plank and stuff like that. And I caught a glimpse of him doing this one wacky ass looking movement that essentially looked like he was sweeping out his leg. So, okay, so you have the guy, right? He was kind of lying in a sort of push-up position. And he was sweeping out his legs from side to side. So he would go like, hang on. Like this. It looked like a fighting game move. Like he was just doing those around like that. And I tried doing those on a whim, and I felt like a part of my abs that I didn't ever use got engaged, and it was super interesting as a feeling. I need to make her body less wide. Move this down here. Okay. There we go. Oh, yeah. All right. Do you guys know about theft of catalytic converters? If you've never heard of what a catalytic converter is, it's a little thing that is near a car's exhaust pipe. What it does is that it forces the carbon molecules. This is from like a 5th grade science class, me trying to remember what the fuck it is, by the way. Essentially, it forces carbon molecules through this kind of platinum strainer, which what it does is that it apparently converts the carbon molecules from really harmful ones to less harmful ones. So essentially, it's an anti-pollution measure, which is great. I like that. But the thing is, to do this, they do need that kind of like platinum mesh, and platinum is very, very rare as a metal. It fetches a high price. So what people used to do is that they used to just take a hacksaw and take the catalytic converter off of cars whenever they saw one parked. And apparently, for some reason, it had a big spike sometime in 2021. But nowadays, it's died down a lot because the market price of platinum has stabilized a lot. So that's kind of a funny idea. I can't not for the life of me imagine some thief just like being like, all right, time to pack up my lunch and grab my hacksaw. It's time for another productive day of slinging catalytic converters. And he suddenly gets like some kind of weird notification on his phone that says platinum is now worth nothing. And he's like, ah, fuck. Guess I'm gonna have to back up and get another gig. Okay. I think that's Hawk done more or less. Okay, yeah, the proportions look fine. I still have the starfish up there, which is, as we all know now, a 5-headed animal, or 5-pointed headed animal. Yeah, I think we're going to be able to finish a ratio here, and then we'll call it a night. Okay. Grab this here. Very good. What's that? Okay, this eyebrow thing is shaping very weirdly. That's unusual. Okay. Put this here. I feel like that needs to be a little bit further up. There we go. Okay. Switch around there. I forgot that I hadn't drawn anything right here, and that vector line just kind of erased itself. My bad. Okay, close out the hat back here. Okay. Then after that, okay. I do wonder how hard it would be to just kind of poke a hole in a hat like this. I reckon the big I reckon making the hole isn't that hard. I think it'd be more taking it on and off that'd be more of a federal issue. me double check the dialogue for this page as well to kind of get an idea for what the face I should make this guy make should be. What's it called again? Let me think. Oh, right. Found you. Okay, this is like page 3. Yeah, I think it's fine if I have him have his eyes closed in this one. Okay, there we go. Perfect. Okay, that's gonna go like this. Okay, perfect. Next, we need to make sure we have this neckerchief situation sorted. I don't know why I made the neck so open in this one, when it's supposed to be a little bit different. This was a long time ago, though. Okay, sling, sling, sling. Okay. Then the collar here. Okay. We'll make the hand a little bit more simplified here. It's really all you need. Although that doesn't look quite right. I think I need to reach over and maybe tilt this out this way. Yeah, okay, this will do. Okay. As for this part over here, I've got an idea for what I can do, but I'll put that into action a little bit later. I think for the time being, we've done a good amount of work on this today. Yeah. All right, I'm going to end things here. Is anybody streaming right now? Oh, Corey's going to be finishing Signals tonight. All right, we move. All right, I can't wait for somebody else's brain chemistry to get permanently changed by that game. Yeah, you take care as well. I'll see you all later. Bye.